Today, I'm going to attempt surviving in a 100% bedrock world, which is impossible. When starting a new survival world in Minecraft, players have the option to spawn near a bonus chest. The items in this chest are always random basic tools and materials to get started. This world is just a super flat world with the grass and dirt removed. Surviving on nothing but bedrock is impossible, but could I survive with just the bonus chest? There's not a lot here, but I think we can work with this. Definitely need to make ourselves a crafting table. Nothing spawns on bedrock, so first I will need to make a spawning platform. I turn the wooden planks into slabs in order to double the platform size and step back, hoping that this thing happened to be in a slime chunk. Behold, a slime has spawned, and now the adventure can begin. The slime immediately attacked me, and after a very repetitive battle, I managed to kill the only other living thing in existence. These torches are going to be my only light source for a very long time, so I'm going to pick them up along with the chest. Marking different areas with the torches while waiting for spawns make it easy to find the sweet spot to AFK. Slimes aren't exactly the most difficult thing to fight, but they can be kinda tricky. Just keep a good distance so they don't hit you. I started with very little food, so if they deal damage, it's going to cause me some serious problems. Mobs can also spawn on slime blocks, so these can be used to expand the farm, but the real reason I need them is for shelter. If there isn't a roof over my head in a couple of days, then this challenge is already over. The slime killing continued with the first night quickly approaching. When the sun sets completely, there will be way more than just slime spawning on this platform. However, with the extra risk comes extra rewards. Most of these mobs could easily destroy me. This slime strayed away from the pack, so I tried getting its attention. I managed to guide the slime away, but a zombie noticed and made its presence known. The zombie put up a good fight and even got a hit in before my fist crushed it into dust. Next, I continued my dispute with the slime until its defense fell to pieces. Zombies can see you from 15 blocks away, so getting them to follow you out to the AFK spot is pretty easy. You can use this to separate the zombies from the other mobs, but when the daylight comes, it doesn't really matter anymore. Rotten flesh has been a starting food source in many of my challenges. This is another one. Because of how common this is, my viewers have renamed the item, now calling it the Forbidden Bacon. Getting lucky with flesh drops is going to be very important for survival early in the challenge, since the amount of food you get from the bonus chest is very little or might even be none. What you're seeing here is basically the entire rotation for the first few days. Grind slimes during the day while trying to get food from zombies at night and each morning. Additionally, the skeletons will drop bones, which can also be crafted into blocks. The hardest part of this challenge is getting a decent start. This has to be my 8th attempt. Survival doesn't come easy between bad luck on starter chests and mob drops, but persistence is key. Like with many other challenges, it takes failure to find the path to success. Eventually, I came up with the idea of getting zombies to follow me far away from the platform so that more zombies would spawn. Lucky for me, this resulted in a lot more food the next morning. Very soon, I will be able to modify the mob farm and getting food will be a lot easier. After a while, I decided it was time to pick up all of the materials I had gathered so far in order to build myself a shelter. Building a nice house or something like that right now is out of the question, but really anything is better than nothing. If you stand out in the open all day and night, then bad things are going to happen. There wasn't enough slime blocks to finish the shelter, which surprises me none at all, but the issue is easily solved by obliterating a few more slimes to get the blocks needed for the job. This is the furthest I've ever gotten in this challenge before, and if things continue going as well as they have so far, then very little was going to stop me. However, there are several obstacles on the road ahead that we still need to overcome. On the next day, I set out to gather the morning bacon, which you could smell sizzling in the hot sun. You can call it gross or disgusting, but I like to call it breakfast. Hey, let's see what you do first thing in the morning when you're running on only like 4.5 hearts. When you're living life on the grind, you do what you gotta do to survive. The food I was getting wasn't enough to sustain me because of how often the slimes were able to lower my health bar, so it was time to do something about that. Slimes can't hit me if they are trapped on the spawning platform, so I'm going to start building a ring around it to keep them inside. You don't like that, do you? Using this simple method will definitely keep me from taking so much damage, and then the food I get might be enough to keep me going. More important was the answer to the question in the back of my mind. How long am I going to be able to do this and keep my sanity, even if I do survive? Not long ago I did the super flat challenge, and the sound of slimes nearly drove me insane. Now I have to live with it again, and on top of that, it's unavoidable because unless I kill slimes, then the challenge cannot progress. Right when I thought things couldn't get any worse, the phantoms reminded me that this challenge has only just started, and the worst has yet to come. I'm sure some of you knew why, but just in case you didn't, then now you know why this shelter was so important. From now on, I will need to be inside the shelter before the sun sets, although that does not mean I am completely safe. It's surprising how much danger can pop up even in such an empty wasteland. The next few days were spent doing the same couple of things over and over while continuing to improve the mob farm little by little as I went on. Progress is extremely slow, but my persistence is extremely high. It might be worth mentioning that a few colleagues and family members told me not to try this challenge. To be fair, they are rightfully worried about the amount of time I will need to spend on this challenge to make decent progress. Nobody should worry about me though, because I keep my health and sanity top priority. Eventually, all of the slabs can be replaced with other blocks, preferably bone blocks. The slabs should then be placed on top of the ring around your farm so that mobs will only spawn inside and not on the rim. But after a while, I managed to discover what worked and what didn't. A wandering trader is the last thing I expected to see this early in the challenge, but sadly, I don't have any of the items needed yet. Unless I am extremely lucky, it will be a while before any iron comes my way. For now, I can get leads and leather from these llamas. Once I had gathered enough slime, the entire spawning platform was enclosed, with only a small opening being left for hitting mobs. Most of the slabs will go on top of the slime wall once they are replaced by bone blocks, but I kept 2 up front so baby zombies can't get me at the punching spot. Yet another thunderstorm rolled through while I was stuck on low health. Of all the things that could end this challenge, that one would probably annoy me the most, since there's nothing I can do to prevent it right now. I survived another night, so the suffering continues. Every day that passes makes the mobs that spawn in my farm a little bit stronger. Over time, they will drop better loot for me, like armor and weapons, some of them with enchantments. Eventually, a carrot or iron ingot will drop, but celebrating that will feel hollow because I will need 7 iron ingots before moving on to the next step of the challenge. Then I can craft a cauldron for catching rainwater. In order to get emeralds, I'm gonna need to sell the wandering trader some water bottles. Bottles can be collected from killing witches, but filling them with water will require a water source. So really, I need to craft a cauldron and a bucket, which meant I needed 10 iron ingots from zombies. This is going to take a very long time. The only way I can think to speed up getting the iron would be to increase the amount of zombies I'm killing over time. I can imagine a couple of ways to do this, but I will need more blocks before I can try anything. If it was possible for me to get to and from the farm while avoiding phantoms, then I could kill mobs at night too, instead of just waiting for the sun to rise. This should at least double the amount of chances I have, but there are no guarantees, so that alone will not be enough. Armor seems to already be dropping for me, so that is a good sign of progress. When you live in a barren nothing, it feels really nice when you have anything at all. Having armor? Kinda OP. Finally, the wooden slabs have all been replaced with bone blocks, and I made it possible to get to and from the farm at night with this slime bridge. Now I can spend less time hiding in the slime hut AFK, and more time actively trying to crush this challenge. Of course, the torches needed to be repositioned so that mobs would not spawn on the newly placed slime blocks. On my first zombie kill of the night, a lucky potato dropped, a sign that I am moving in the right direction. Soon, iron will follow. Mobs also spawn during thunderstorms, so I went back to the safe spot and waited for a few minutes. Monsters populated the farm in a short time, and I got to whacking. I didn't get anything good from this run, but on my way back, I noticed something standing in the distance. I need to be quick. Oh my god. Oh my god. Tripping the skeleton horse trap was probably not the smartest thing to do, but now that the horsemen are here, let's put them down and take their rides. Not that we have a need for transportation since there is nothing out there in the world, but having a few pets to keep me company during the challenge could be good though, so why not make an enclosure just for them? Maybe one day they will have room to run around. Until then, I'll keep them right here. Don't waste energy punching creepers. Oh, and save your bows for killing the witches. Life is unpleasant, but I'm making the best of it. At least I don't have to worry about food anymore. I haven't been seriously hurt in a while, so the bacon has been stacking up pretty good. Redstone dust, potatoes, glass bottles, skeleton horses. But when Wandering Trader number 2 shows up, I still have no iron. To make things even worse, this guy has amazing trades. Just think, we could be buying that moss right now. Maybe if I corner this trader and wait for the next morning, when he drinks the milk bucket to clean off the invisibility, I'll wipe out his HP and it will drop the bucket when it dies. I've never really done this before. I hope this works. Well, dang. Maybe next time. Even though I was upset about the bucket thing, my work continued, which paid off. Because after a short time spent whacking zombies, the first iron bar blessed me with its presence. This is one of the most epic moments of this entire challenge. Getting the Acquire Hardware advancement. The excitement from this made me even more determined to grind. It was simply a matter of time. No matter what, if I kept going, then I'd succeed. No opportunity is too small. If I see a zombie, then I whack it. Just like that, a second iron ingot is mine for the taking. Spiders are still able to get out of the mob farm, so I have to face one of them from time to time. Some things are just beyond our control, and we have to learn to adjust. Why would he bother the second skeleton horse trap, I bet you're wondering? Well, it's simply because I didn't want to ignore the thing, just to have it wander close to me later down the road. That's the second time phantoms have almost killed me in this challenge. I am never risking an encounter with phantoms again. Third time's a charm. Hurting the skeleton horses wasn't part of my plan, but my aim is not exactly the best today. Maybe I should keep practicing so that next time I'll do better. Something tells me that's a good idea. Picking up this iron helmet gave me another advancement. The helmet also has to be the best piece of armor I've obtained this entire time. Witches seem to be spawning more often as time passes, and that is good if true. Not only do they drop several useful items that would otherwise be impossible to obtain, but 2 of those items are sources of light. After all of this time, we finally got the zombies to drop a carrot. If only there was a way to plant it. Work continues day and night, rain or shine. I never stop. My inventory was starting to get full, and so was the chest. Hopefully I won't have to toss any items on the ground to despawn before we are able to get another chest. In the worst case scenario, I suppose it would be okay to toss anything renewable, like arrows or trash like gunpowder, which I cannot think of a use for. Glowstone, however, is the best loot and will always have a use. The first glowstone block should go over here on my hut, that is now made of bone. I continued smacking feet with a stick at the mob farm while brainstorming new ideas. Mobs have thorns on their armor way too often, and it's kind of annoying. After a very long while, I hit level 50 and the third iron ingot dropped to congratulate me on all my hard work. Even though this was really good progress, the process was still not going fast enough. Waiting for mobs to spawn at night meant that I was only going to get a set amount of mobs each day. If only there was a way for me to grind mobs all day and night. That should more than double my rates. On the very next day, it hit me like a ton of bricks. All this mob farm needs is a roof, so it is completely dark inside during the daytime. Slime blocks would let the light in, so it had to be made with bone blocks. If this works right, then I can grind for loot all day and all night. The chances of iron dropping won't increase, but the wait between each ingot would be much shorter. With 7 more ingots to go, this was going to be better than continuing to do things the current way. Once I gather a few more bone blocks, this farm is getting a serious upgrade. Even the moon lights up the farm a little bit at night, so I'm hoping the amount of mob spawning will increase a bit as well. Needing all 10 iron to progress in this challenge was one of the scariest aspects to me when going into this. Having 3 ingots on my hotbar was giving me quite a bit of confidence at the moment. Once the farm upgrade was complete, this was where all of my time would be spent for the next several hours. It was going to be a lot of hard work, but it would all pay off in the end. There wasn't a doubt in my mind. The only way for light to get in is right here at the kill spot, so if this gets covered up completely, the light level should be 0. So I'm going to use the remaining slabs to cover this up. Checking back later didn't inspire confidence, as there were only a few zombies inside. When checking the next morning, the results were pretty much the same, and I was starting to worry. One of the zombies dropped a carrot, and my hope had been restored. Not long after that, another iron ingot dropped, marking one more milestone for this challenge. After that, I would try to AFK in a few different spots while attempting to increase the amount of mobs spawning inside the farm. Staying too close to the farm results in less mobs spawning, so I would need to move further away and AFK, but not too far away. Moving too far away causes many of the mobs that spawn to despawn before you ever get to them. Somewhere in the middle is the sweet spot, where mobs spawn and start to pile up over time. This is where I want it to be. The improvement on the farm was working well, allowing me to continuously grind for loot. Now at this point, you just might be asking, "Hey Banclam, how long is this gonna take?" Well, my fellow Minecraft fan, I'll tell you right now. It takes absolutely forever. A long, boring, miserable time. This is ingot number 5, and that means we are halfway there. Exactly 1 experience level after that, number 6 dropped, and I continue to grind for more iron ingots. Seriously, the only thing I did was check in this farm and continue grinding every day. When I was about halfway through level 66, iron ingot number 7 dropped. It started raining shortly after that, so I crafted the cauldron. That way we could start collecting rainwater. I placed it right outside of the AFK hut and blocked myself inside to take a break. A very, very long break. Can you blame me? Some people would frown on me going AFK for all the hours I did. Surely grinding mobs while waiting for it to rain would make more sense. Hear me out though. All those hours spent punching zombie feet was driving me insane. I needed a break from all that. Look who spawned while Banclam was AFK though. Lucky for all of us, he wanted to buy water bottles, giving me my first 2 emeralds. If only I could learn from my mistakes, then this run might go a little more smoothly. Seriously, this is like the 3rd time I've been in this same exact predicament. The next day, another wandering trader spawned. As usual, I couldn't help but murder the llamas right away. Maybe forcing myself to kill mobs constantly is starting to have an effect on me. Quickly I checked the trades and bingo! 2 moss blocks per emerald. I purchased 4, placed them by the AFK hut, and got myself some bone meal from ye old inventory before slapping it on top of those big beautiful moss blocks. Now we can get seeds from grass, and there are also azalea bushes which you can bone meal to grow into an azalea tree, giving us a dirt block also in the form of rooted dirt. Boom! We finally have our first tree. Sadly, I had placed one of the logs from the starter chest and picked it up, so we already have the advancement, but that's okay. Nothing could ruin this moment. Think of all the things we can do now. This actually happened earlier than I thought it would too, because I don't even have the bucket yet. Wooden swords were going to make clearing the mob farm a lot easier too, hitting multiple mobs while also dealing more damage than my fragile knuckles can. Crafting new chests for all of the mob loot is also possible now. Even though I needed to get 3 more iron, it was difficult to resist the urge to do something different for a change. Collecting moss carpet felt a lot more enjoyable than chopping mobs for the next 10 hours. Having new materials meant improving every aspect of life here was now possible. No more using slime blocks for doors. Just use doors. Sometimes thinking of something was a bit difficult, and I would think while grinding out more resources. Eventually, after a while, the obvious would present itself to me. Many times these phantoms have nearly destroyed everything I've built. It's time to finally sleep the night away. I did not expect to hit my head getting up the next day though. Now that I can get moss carpet, it would be a good idea to spawn-proof the top of this mob farm so the slimes will leave me alone. Just like that, ideas will come flooding in and all kinds of stuff will get done. Just gotta wait for inspiration. After killing zombies for a while, my hunger bar went down, and I realized that it was now possible to grow crops. Having all of this bone meal was really starting to pay off. I hate to say it, but everything made out of bone blocks might eventually be replaced with wood if I need more bone meal in the future. Occasionally chopping down a few trees for more logs felt pretty good, but soon I'm going to need to stock up. There is a very big build coming up soon, and I want to be ready. Zombie chopping time had arrived again. There were a few corrupted clips from this section of the challenge, but I managed to get another iron ingot during that time. Once I am able to get 2 more iron ingots, then the bucket can be crafted, and after that, a full water block can be collected from the cauldron. Soon after, an infinite water source will follow. Just like in a regular super flat world, having water means building a proper mob farm will be possible. The pace after that will be insane. Much has changed about my world over the last couple hundred days. That wasn't about to stop anytime soon. Looking at the bedrock is starting to really give me a headache. Covering some of it up might help with that. Before I start burning through all of my building materials, it might be a good idea to fix up some stuff around the base first. Recovering all of this bone meal is a good idea because it can all be converted to even more wood. The mob farm is safe for now because I still need it, but eventually this thing will be gone completely. Meanwhile, it won't hurt to fix it up a bit, so the thing looks better. Don't forget that this is the slime chunk as well, so there will be something here. At least 25% of the time, I'll go into a challenge with a full plan. This time, I planned absolutely nothing. Everything I have done so far is the result of me just trying to survive, but now there is a way to be more creative. Plenty of build ideas came to mind, but anything that wasn't mob-proof was going to cause problems. So no matter what, I was still limited. That wasn't going to stop me from trying though. Barely a thing has been done and we already have a zombie bothering us. At least it wasn't a creeper. My skeleton horses need to be moved so I can continue what I'm doing. I gathered them up and tied them to fence posts by my hut. All 4 torches were used to light each side of the hut. This spot is more or less where everything started. Everything in this world so far has come from me spending time AFK right here. It only makes sense to decorate the area to show others how important it is. One look at our base should tell a story about how it came to be. The little bit of bedrock exposed in the middle might one day be the only bit you can see. A lot of noise was coming from the mob farm, so I used free cam to look inside and it was loaded. Apparently doing circles around my AFK spot works better than just standing in it. This wasn't going to be a problem since being AFK doesn't generate lumber. It rains so often that the cauldron might be full again by the time I get that bucket. Chopping down one tree at a time was tedious, so I started growing groups of them like this, which was starting to give me ideas. Another wave of monsters fell to my glorified rolling pin, and as luck would have it, not just 1, but 2 iron ingots dropped. Zombies can't drop 2 iron ingots at once, can they? What are the odds that 2 zombies dropped 1 at the same time? Hard to believe that happened, but it did. I was right, the cauldron was full, but that's only 1 water source, so what now? Wait for it to fill again? No way. Just refill the cauldron with bottles and pick it up with a bucket. We have waited long enough already. Infinite water changes quite a lot as well. Soon I'll be able to go fishing. Growing rows of crops would be possible if there was more than just 1 dirt hanging around. After the wandering trader visits a few thousand times, that might actually be possible though. Sadly, there will never be grass in this world. That means there will also never be any cows, pigs, or sheep. Anything that spawns on grass. The only reason we see llamas is because of the wandering traders. Any animal other than that is likely not something that we are ever going to see. The old mob farm will remain a slime farm for now. Slime blocks aren't something I'm gonna need a lot of, but they add character. My excitement was overflowing. After all those days punching mobs, after all the hours spent AFK watching YouTube, finally the first blocks of a proper mob farm were being placed on Bedrock. Everyone who has made it this far into the video has more than likely made one of these mob farms, so I'm not going to go into every little detail. If you have no clue what's happening right now, just don't worry. Good things are about to happen. Commenters often tell me that they feel like they are watching a tutorial, and I'm trying to change that. Besides, even if you were looking for a mob farm tutorial, then this probably isn't the one you want to make. This design is really old, and the rates are kinda slow, but it works. If I had bamboo, then I'd build the new farm, but I'm stuck in a bedrock world, so yeah. No need to be greedy though, because this one is going to work just fine. The simple little boxes that I've had to deal with this whole time barely got us by. Having this farm by comparison is like having running water rather than having to haul buckets from a well in the backyard. It was going to deliver a constant stream of mobs, endless amounts of bones, and more. I made the roof from slabs so mobs wouldn't spawn on top of the farm and prepared the farm for permanent use. The final seal is closed up and now it was time to get busy. By the time I got to the bottom, the mob farm was already completely full. Only time will tell if this was all worth it. What do you think? Is this challenge worth continuing? Like the video and tell me in the comments if you want to see more. I'll see you all next time, and until then, stay golden.